Hopefully you're not finding yourself in a pickle right now with all of your work, and that you've been doing everything right on schedule. Do you get it? Because I'm a pickle. Do you understand? Pickle? All right. I'm an odd human, I know. All right, so this is your midweek check-in. You're into week 2. So what I want to do for this quick video is I want to show you some examples and some specifics of what you can do to make sure that you're doing really well on your writing. I want to leave you with a thought-provoking poem and just remind you about due dates, okay? All right, so for specifics, I want to show you a couple of examples that were submitted last week that I thought were really, really, really good. Okay, so I've got some highlights here just so I can talk about specific things. But generally the way I saw it when we're talking about the different ways that we can construct a body paragraph, obviously you have your topic sentence first, and then you're going to make an argument in that topic sentence. So I kind of denoted that with the yellow highlighter here. And then after that, what you need to do is make sure that you establish evidence for that argument, which I have in blue, and then you need to analyze, provide an analysis of your argument and the evidence that explains why it matters. And that's what I did in the green. And I'm going to show you 2 examples, one of an initial post and one of a comment that I really, really liked. Okay? But also there's different things that we can do to make it even better, but these students both got full marks, so they're excellent. All right, here we go. Puppy, a short story by George Saunders, argues that higher social class citizens in America hold negative dispositions toward the character of lower class citizens based solely on the appearance of their social class standing, which I thought was excellent. I would maybe broaden it a little bit and argue that people among different social classes have negative dispositions towards each other, right? Because it wasn't just high social class people looking down on low social class, but vice versa as well. So this point is made in Puppy when Marie, a well-off mother, enters the disarrayed home of Callie, a working class woman, and thought quietly to herself, "Please do not touch anything, please do not touch," because she wanted to give the children a chance to observe her being democratic and accepting. And afterward, they could all wash up at the half-remodeled McDonald's. Excellent. This is really good. And I like how this student is providing some context with well-off mother and working class woman. Too often when we're writing, we're making the assumptions that our readers, even if they have already read the work, will remember everything perfectly. So what this student is doing well is providing context for this quote. They're explaining the situation that's happening and also the speaker, which is critical. One thing they can do here, instead of, for your in-text citation here, I like that you've got the period after the in-text citation, which is perfect. But what could improve this is you don't put the name of the story in the in-text citation unless for some reason you don't have an author. What you put in that in-text citation is the last name of the author, so you would put Saunders there. Okay, moving on to our analysis. This is a line of analysis here. Marie, after stepping into Callie's home for only a short moment, immediately judged that the home was beneath her. This behavior of Marie's, being put off by the state of living in which Callie resides, is reinforced in Scott and Leonhardt's article when they state that the isolation of the affluent has increased, thus showing the discomfort felt between differing social classes around one another. That's excellent. I would maybe provide an example of how Marie is doing this, making it a little bit more specific, but other than that, excellent point, excellent analysis, excellent quote. Marie, however, eventually gives in and decides, okay, then all right, they would adopt a white trash dog, but she imagined the puppy grown up, entertaining some friends, speaking to them in a British accent. My family of origin was, rather, not, shall we say, of the most respectable. Great quote. I would maybe provide a little more context there because we haven't really mentioned the puppy much yet or what's going on. So maybe provide some context there, but still really good. The way in which Marie talks about the puppy here clearly shows her negative disposition towards Callie and her repute, even though she does not know her personally. It is common with people in the upper social classes to look down upon the state of those in lower classes without knowing the people personally first. In America, class is seen as a source of identity, a system of exclusion, and thus causes a clear division in our minds between ourselves and people who are different than ourselves. Excellent quote. Excellent. This is important because in America today, people of all classes should be more aware of the negative dispositions they might subconsciously hold toward other classes. My own opinion of the issue is that I've personally seen people too often grow numb to the way they view or even treat people who are in different classes as them simply because of their social standing. I believe this notion needs to be checked in each of our lives because it causes disunity and animosity toward fellow citizens as subtle as the wind. It is quick and disastrous as wildfire. Excellent ending. Very good. I love that metaphor there. And just like with the rest of this incredibly good submission, I would opt to be more specific. So a good rule of thumb to think in your writing is that specifics stimulate and generalities bore. And oftentimes we could have beautiful prose, but our readers can get a little bit bored, or we can even be more persuasive if we give specifics. So when you say something like this, my own opinion of the issue is that I've personally seen people too often grow numb. Now I'm thinking as the reader, well, what are you talking about there? Can you be specific? Can you give me a personal anecdote that proves that? And that would make it even stronger. All in all, excellent, excellent post. But always ask yourself, can I make this submission a little bit more textured by giving specifics? But overall, well done, well done. Okay, here is a comment that I thought was really good. And I've broken this down into the components of the body paragraph as well, with a topic sentence, evidence, and analysis. Really, really good here. All right. Also, I like that this student had the courage to disagree, which is really difficult to do. So great job there. I disagree with your argument because there are other opportunities for people from all areas in the country to be successful. So what I would do here is I would make specific reference to the argument, or at least your understanding of it. That could make it more specific there too. For example, the trade industry in roles such as an electrician is extremely popular, along with the military being a great option to set a person up for higher education in the future. Your idea from The Unknown Citizen is contradicted by George Saunders in the short story Puppy, when Marie thought to herself, life will not necessarily always be like this. Your life could suddenly blossom into something wonderful. It can happen. It happened to me. The idea of the ability to climb the social ladder in the United States is also supported in the article by Scott Leonhardt when they say, today, anyone may have a shot at becoming a United States Supreme Court Justice or a CEO, and there are more and more self-made billionaires. Only 37 members of last year's Forbes 400, a list of the richest Americans, inherited their wealth, down from almost 200 in the mid-1980s. So I hope you can see that section in blue there, how specific it is. We've got clear and concrete examples that you can almost imagine in your mind as you're reading them. That's exactly the type of specifics I'm looking for here. Specifics stimulate. And this is a very stimulating example of evidence for a body paragraph. Well done. Okay, and then lastly, our analysis. Ultimately, I think your argument is flawed because it fails to take into account the many other possibilities to circumvent an underfunded educational system in certain areas. I agree with you that equal access to quality education may be a pothole in the road for some looking to increase their socioeconomic status, but I think a more effective way to solve this issue primarily is to show other opportunities available to be able to climb the social class ladder. Excellent. And honestly, like, this paragraph, whether I agree with it or not, is beside the point. They make an argument, they support it with evidence from the text, and they give an analysis that's respectful. There's concessions that are made. I agree with you on X. However, I don't agree with you on Y. Really well done here, and also very respectful. And I just want to encourage everyone that those disagreements are going to come up, and we've got thick skin. We're learning to debate and to be persuasive and argue. Really well done there. This is something that 99.999% of America cannot do. We post things on social media, and then when people disagree with us, we see it as an attack on our identity, and we claws out, go for the jugular, right? And that's just silly. We should have a civil discourse, and that's what this class is helping us to do, to develop critical ideas that are unique and allowing us to express them effectively. So really well done there. Okay, so everyone did really well in terms of making sure that you submitted everything. In fact, I think, well, I don't want to say that. Most of you submitted everything in on time. If you did not submit, go ahead and submit your assignment from last week. I'm not saying that I'll give you full credit or that I'll give you any credit, but it certainly isn't going to hurt if you submit that. Also make sure that you're responding to 2 class members. I think some of you lost some points because you only responded to 1. Make sure you're responding to 2 class members. Everything is due at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, and I wanted to leave you just with this kind of haunting poem with everything that's been going on lately. It's one that I've always really enjoyed. It's called Harlem by Langston Hughes. So Langston Hughes was a writer prominent in the Harlem Renaissance, especially during like the civil rights movement. His literature became wildly popular, and I've been thinking about it, this poem in particular, this week. So I'll read it, and I'll also post it in the email in case you want to read it over and dig into it a bit more. But just something thought-provoking, and also something constructive if you're like me and can go down the rabbit hole with all the news articles as well as with comments on social media. I think poetry can be a bit more constructive. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So that's a poem that I've been thinking a lot about this week, and it's something constructive, I think. I think oftentimes poetry has the ability to kind of go beyond logic in our minds and get us to a place to where we really can activate these sentiments within our own hearts. Okay, so you all are awesome. I was so proud of the work that you all submitted last week. Keep it up. Make sure that you're reading the comments that I left for you. If I didn't leave you any comments, that means that you probably got a perfect score and are doing really well. If you did not get a perfect score, odds are that there are some constructive points of criticism that are there, as well as hopefully some encouraging things. Okay, that's all I have. Y'all are great. I'm going to be out of town on Thursday and Friday. I'll still have my phone on me to interact with you all for office hours. But if there's a little bit of a lag, just be patient with me. If you message me, I might not get back to you right away. I might be in a swimming pool with my kids who are climbing all over me. So just give me a little bit to respond, but I will do my best to make sure that I am present in there between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Google Hangouts. Okay, y'all are awesome. Have a good week.